If you saw the video last week, you'll know what we're doing this week. I'll give you a clue. Cute face, fabulous hair. Hello old bean, welcome to my channel. My name is Jules. I write and illustrate children's books and generally do lots of drawing videos. Last week we drew a unicorn. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'll put a link in the description and there should be a card somewhere up there pretty soon, hopefully, if I manage to edit this video properly. But I thought we should probably draw someone who is BFFs with our unicorn, and that is a little unicorn girl. So if you want to learn how to draw a unicorn girl, then grab yourself a piece of paper and a pencil, and you can pause the video as we go along step by step. See, this is the sort of thing that I have to put up with when I'm trying to draw. I get harangued by butterflies that fly into my studio and just want to chat. Oh, isn't it beautiful? I'm using marker paper like we did for the unicorn. I'm using my Tombow pastel set, the same as using the unicorn, and my Papermate non-stop HB USA pencil. It's a purple one, obviously, to go with the old unicorn theme. I do apologise if you can hear lots of twittering in the background. It's because we have birdies, many birdies in the garden. I actually think it's quite nice. I like listening to them. Okay, made a mistake already. I'm going to rub that out because I can see that's going to be too high up on the page. I'm going to come down a bit, otherwise we're not going to fit her horn in. So I'm just going to draw a circle to start with, and that's going to be for her head. I'm also going to draw a line that goes straight up, and that shows where the horn's going to be. I hope you can see this properly. Okay, let's do our best. Okay, and she's going to have a big head and a small body and long legs. Okay, so that's going to be her t-shirt. And this little skirt here, I'm going to give you a really good trick for if you do not like drawing hands. Okay, so there's her legs. Trick for if you don't want to draw hands is that you have her with her hands on her hips but slightly behind her body, so all you get to see is her arms. Like so. Don't forget that the upper part of the arm is thicker than the lower part. I'm actually going to make that sleeve a bit wider. So there you go. Just looks like she's got her hands behind her back. Legs tapered towards the ankle, very slightly. I'm not going to do any knees or other, sort of attributes to her legs, just because I want to keep this really simple. And she's going to have little white kind of sneakers on, and I'm going to see those from the side like that with bows, and there's the laces. I'll show you again a bit slower how to draw the outline of the shoe. So there's the bottom of her ankle. We're going to draw a semicircle, and then we're going to go behind the ankle, come out a little bit and then down, cross the bottom, and then back up to in line where the shoe is, because this is where the shoe is going behind her foot, behind her leg and foot. And then we come across and then just curve it down like that, and you end up with that sort of shape. Shoes are really hard to draw, as are hands, so that's a little illustrator trick as well. So there's our bow, laces, and then from the bow I'm going to draw 3 lines coming down, and then underneath those lines 3 dots, and that shows the laces for those shoes. Okay, so we've got the basis of our little unicorn girl going on. Here's a little few tricks for drawing a face. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but if you were to draw a cross shape on a face like this, the eyes are going to be along this line, along this plane here. So this is where your eyes are going to be, like that. It's quite surprising because quite often people, when they first start drawing, draw the eyes up here, but that's where your hair's going to be. The nose, she's got a little pert little nose like that, and that would be roughly halfway down. Well, mine's slightly up because it's a little pert nose, about halfway between where our eye line is and the chin, and then again halfway between there and the nose and the chin is where the mouth will be. So my little girl has got a kind of cheeky smile, so she's smiling on one side of her face like that. There are her eyes. And then her hair. Now this, her horn, I'm going to do a horn first of all. Her horn is actually a headband. So I'm just going to draw a very tall triangle, and then from the, excuse me, behind the triangle, a semicircle like that, and then in front of it, the other part of the semicircle. So you've almost got almost a moon shape, and that shows the headband. Now the hair, she's going to have fabulous hair. So let's draw it like this. Draw strands of hair to start with, in big sort of swoopy, like almost like waves. And you can go as crazy as you like with this, because remember, she is a rather fabulous young lady. And she's got long swoopy hair, like so. And a bit, you can see a little bit, because she's got very long hair, you can see some of it behind her arms. So don't draw it in front of her arms if it's coming down the back of her head, because you wouldn't see that. There. Okay, I think we are now ready for some pen work. Okay, I'm going to use a 0.5 again for, this is the Pigment Micron fine liner, but you could use any fine liner that you've got, really. It's not, it doesn't really make that much difference, I don't think. This is just the one I happen to be using at the moment. The paper I'm using is marker paper, specifically for doing this sort of work, which is great because it's very smooth and it doesn't mess up your marker pens. It also means that the pigment pretty much stays put where you ask it to go, rather than spreading out. You know, when you use cartridge paper, sometimes it just goes everywhere, because cartridge paper has quite often got some cotton in it, which is, as you know, quite absorbent. So it absorbs the excuse me, it quite often absorbs a lot of the pigment, and then it spreads it out a bit. I don't know if you've ever done one of those science experiments where you put some ink on the bottom of a piece of like coffee filter paper, and then you see it, what's it called, chromatography. That's a little bit like what you get when you're doing pen work on cartridge paper. It just does the same sort of job, really. So there we go, there's her arms going behind her back. I haven't done her pupils yet, and I'll show you why in a minute. I'm just going to do her legs. And I'm also going to leave the laces because I'm going to use a skinny pen for that as well. I think what I'll do is I will use my 0.2 for doing that. Going to finish off her hair. Now I've got her arms in place, it's a bit easier to see where I need to go in between and behind. There. Okay, so 0.2 fine liner, I'm just going to do her pupils. and that's why I decided to do them with a smaller size pen, because I wanted to get a bit more detail. And then the laces, 3 dots, the laces and the ones that are in the shoe, and 3 dots. And what I am going to do on this one is I'm going to use my 0.8, which is the thickest one I've got, so it's 0.8 fine liner. I'm going to draw lines, kind of funky, quirky lines, not straight, going down her legs like this, which is her unicorn tights. There we go. Okay, now I have by accident drawn her mouth so it looks a little bit like she's some sort of fisherman about to have a pipe. So I'm going to just change that slightly. Change the shape of her mouth. That's a bit better. Just a tiny little line made all the difference. One thing I did forget was to draw some lines on the horn. So before I start colouring, I'm just going to quickly draw a few little lines, getting smaller and smaller and smaller as they go towards the tip of the horn, and that just shows that the horn is a rounded shape. Okay, before I rubbed out the lines, I made sure that the fine liner had dried properly, because otherwise you run the risk of smudging it. So let's start with her eyes. I'm using these Tombow pastel brush pens again. They have a thick end like that, and they have a thin end. So I'm going to use this blue because when we did the unicorn last week we gave him blue eyes, so I'm going to have her matching, and I'm going to go in around the pupil, not too far out, just to give her an iris. And you'll see it brings the character to life. Suddenly you can see they have a bit more to them. I'm also going to very quickly, before I forget, excuse me, go back into with my fine liner, 0.2, just give her some eyelashes like that, 2 little eyelashes on the edge. And I'm also going to give her a bit more of an eyelid, because I thought she was looking a bit starey and slightly serial killerish. There we go, that's a bit better. Okay, now I have got my pastel set in a particular order, because I want to make sure oh, excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with me this morning. I need another cup of tea, that's what it is. I want to be able to use these in a particular order. I do not want to get these 2 purples too close together, because then they'll fade into one another. So I'm actually going to swap those 2 around so they're even further apart, and I'm going to use that order for all the stripes. So I'm going to go in first of all. I think I will do her, I'm going to do her hair first. So I'm going to go in with the blue, and it doesn't matter quite so much with the hair because it's so busy, but you'll see what I mean in a minute when we get to the tights and the rest of the clothes. So we don't want the pinks being too close to one another or the purples too close to one another. Just let them separate out a bit. And the aim is to get the majority of the hair coloured in one colour or another. You can always go back, take your time over doing this. You can always go back into it. The good thing about these pens as well is that they do blend. So they quite often come with a blending brush, which I'm just looking for my blending brush. Where is it? No, can't see what I've done with it at the moment. But it's a brush that has no colour in it, and it's just got some, I think, some alcohol or something sort of liquidy in it that helps to smooth the colours together if you want. Okay, I'm going to go back in with, I think I'm going with this purple, just down here. And you can also, you can put colour in where you haven't put the ends of the hair. It doesn't have to be exactly where you've drawn the hair, those sort of wavy shapes for the hair. Okay, so there's our hair. I'm going to do her tights now. Now this is where I am going to use that colour combination in that order. I don't know if you can hear that clicking, funny sort of clicking noise. That is a blackbird, and that's its alarm call. It's obviously seen something. Perhaps there's a cat or something out there. I don't know if my microphone is picking it up at all, but it's quite loud. But I love, I do love working in my studio because there is such a lot of wildlife knocking around, making my day interesting. The reason that I've put the black lines in with my fine liner along the tights is I did try this out a couple of days ago, and I didn't like the way that the colours all merged into each other without much definition, so I decided to put lines in for her tights. Okay, so what colours shall we do her skirt? I think we'll leave her shoes white, and we're going to leave the horn white, but I'll show you how we can show that we haven't forgotten about the horn. We've just decided not to colour it because we want it to be white. We want to use the white of the paper. I think we will go for, because they are my favourite colour combo, we're going to go for pink and green, and we're going to do stripes. I'm also going to use the white of the paper on this because then we can have white, pink and green stripes on her skirt. So I'm just following the shape of the curve like that, and then going with the green next to it. There. I'm pressing quite hard so that the brush part of the pen does splay out a little bit. Very cute. And I think I will go in with this purple. I'm not going to colour the whole of the t-shirt because I think that can stay white as well, because white is actually part of the colour scheme, isn't it? Because unicorns are white. So I'm just going to do some edging along the edge of the sleeves like that, along the bottom of the t-shirt, and I was going to say around the neckline, but I think I'll leave that because you can't really see her neckline. Okay, so that's the colouring. I'm going to find a grey, I haven't got a grey Tombow pen unfortunately at the moment, but I have got a grey Nudoer brush pen. So I'm just going to use this along the bottom of the shoes like that. That shows that they are in shadow. We can imagine that the sun is coming. You need to decide where the light source is coming from, and we're going to imagine it's the sun. The sun is coming from over here. So it's going to be this side of the horn is going to be in shadow, like that. And I'm going to give it a little bit that side as well. And I think she's almost done. The only thing, apart from I need to put some skin colour on her, but I think I'm going to do that with pencil because I don't have the right pen to do that. The only other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write I love unicorns across the top in pink. Get rid of those. I'm going to do it with the fat end of my Tombow pen, and then I'm going to go over it, so I'm going to do this freehand, I'm going to go over it with my fine liner to make it look a bit offset sort of text. So I'm going to start pressing quite hard. Oh, I've been joined by my dog, if you can hear some trip trapping. She's doing trip trapping over the bridge. Hi, love. I did plan this out before on my other one, by the way, so I know where to start with the eye. Press hard on the way down, light on the way up. Hard on the way down. Light on the way up, and then hard again. And that woofing is Wally. He's my other dog. Hard on the way down. Starting light, and then hard, and then light again. The O, hard on the way down, light on the way up. Pressure this is, by the way. I didn't say that, did I? Unicorn, hard on the way down. Light, hard. Hard on the way down. Remember to hit that subscribe button, but only gently, and ding the bell notification. Did you have a go at doing it? Tag me into anything that you post on Instagram or in Facebook that is related to your unicorn or your unicorn girl, and I would love to see what you've been up to. It's one of my favourite things to do of the week. I hope you enjoyed the video and you found it helpful. Share it with a friend if you think your friends would like it. Remember to check out my bullet journal video, which comes out next Friday. Thanks for watching. I'm off to ride my unicorn in the forest. I will see you next week.